There. I'm making this video, which is the first of two, just to extract two videos from allegedly Dave's Bodycentric health talk. I'm doing this because his full video is 2 hours and 20 minutes long, and I've sent it to a few people that I really think need to watch it, and they haven't because it's so long, which I understand. Everyone's very busy these days, and it's hard to sit down and concentrate on anything for 2 hours and 20 minutes that doesn't have superheroes in it. I get it. Nevertheless, I think people could really benefit from getting this knowledge. So I'm just doing two videos. One is just allegedly Dave discussing the science of urine therapy, help people get their heads around why it might work, and then I'm going to do a second video just showing him presenting the before and after pics of people who've done it. So I'll let him talk, and yeah, hope you enjoy.
So distilled water is one very powerful way of detoxing, taking out the things that shouldn't be in the body. This is an even more powerful one. Yeah, and I know I know what you're thinking. Yeah. Now I've actually been on urine therapy for like, I think it's nearly seven or 8 years now, and I've been in the papers and that stuff because of it. You know, my kids hate this, but yeah. But I've also done a 30-day urine fast, and seen some amazing results. Maybe I'll go into it a little later on. So there are a lot of myths that are going around about urine. Okay, first of all, it's a waste product. That's what we're told. That it smells, it's dirty, and here's one that everyone says: if the body's getting rid of it, why put it back in? You know, and why don't doctors prescribe it? Most people say, I could never do it, I could never drink it. No. And others say, I could never put it on their skin. Well, let's go through these one at a time. Well, is it a waste product? Actually, no. What happens is the blood goes to the liver, right? And the liver literally screens out all the waste, all the toxins, anything that shouldn't be in the blood, the liver will take out, and it goes via the bile duct into your poo, basically. Okay, so the purified blood then goes to your kidneys, and your kidneys are there to keep your blood in perfect balance. Yeah, so if you have too much water in your blood, yeah, well then your blood isn't doing its job properly because your blood's too watery. So your kidneys take out the excess water and stores it in the bladder, and it does it for all the things that are in the blood. You know, the hormones, the vitamins, the minerals, anything that's good, all the good stuff that's in your blood. Yeah, having too much is just as bad as having not enough. So all the excess goes and gets stored in your bladder. Well, there's a clue right there. Your body does not store waste. It wants to get rid of waste as soon as possible. So, you know, your urine is being stored for a reason. Because while it's in your bladder, your body realizes it's got a store of all this good stuff. So when it needs it, it will reabsorb it. So how many people have had this experience where you've been dying to go to the loo and you get distracted, and an hour later you realize, oh, I don't need to go anymore? Anybody? Yeah? That's because while you were distracted, your body started to reabsorb some of that urine, and it took the pressure off your bladder. Okay, very simple. So the only problem there is if that storage facility gets completely full, well, your kidneys are still, you know, getting rid of the excess in your blood, but there's nowhere to store it now. The only option it has is to dump all this really good stuff overboard. Yeah, that's why we get rid of it. So, like I say there, the urine is literally a snapshot of everything that's going on in your body, you know, right at that moment. Yeah, it's literally got the antidote to whatever's going on. For example, if you have a so-called infection, well, the antibodies are going to be in your urine. Yeah, if you have an allergy, yeah, the antihistamine is in the urine. Yeah, and it's It's in exactly the right proportions that are needed, yeah? Your urine is also is literally your lifeblood, yeah? It is the blood plasma, it's the yellow stuff. When you take a blood sample and you put it in a test tube, the red blood cells sink to the bottom, and above it is left this yellow liquid. Guess what that is? It's literally your urine, yeah? It's the medical term for urine is plasma ultrafiltrate, ultra-filtered blood plasma. That's what it is. So there's nothing disgusting about it at all. It's your blood. Well, it's not your blood. It's what's being carried around in your bloodstream, yeah? And amniotic fluid is also urine. First the mother's urine, and then the baby's. And the water, this is a strange thing because there's lots of stuff in the urine, but essentially the water in the urine is distilled. And has anybody come across the work of Masaru Emoto, where water has a memory? Well, the water is being structured by your experience. So when you're taking it in, you're restructuring that water over and over and over again. So is it smelly and dirty? Yeah? Well, it turns out that urine is literally one of the most sterile substances on earth. Yeah, when it comes out, it's totally sterile. Now, doctors will... There's a TV show called Health Freaks, and they were talking about urine, and these doctors sat there and said, well, it's not sterile, there'll be some bacteria in it. Well, the only bacteria that get into urine as it comes out is only if your genitalia is dirty. So I just imagine those doctors' genitals are pretty nasty, you know. It's actually a natural detergent. Chinese laundries used to be urine. I think they still are, actually. They use urine to wash clothes with, yeah, because it is a natural detergent.
Clean wool a bit now,
Sorry?
Clean wool.
Yeah.
Plant,
this is a thing. This is old knowledge, yeah. If you speak to your parents or even grandparents and talk to them, ask them questions about it, most of them will say, yes, we used to use urine to do this and do that. They used to know all this stuff. So most people have this idea that urine smells really bad, but when you first pass it, it doesn't smell really bad at all. Yeah, literally smells of you. It only gets that pungent smell when it sits on an inorganic surface, and the air gets to it. And then the action of it killing bacteria has ammonia as a kind of byproduct, and that's the acrid smell that we kind of associate with urine. Okay. If you start using urine, yes, at first, if your body needs a lot of work, then it's going to be pretty strong. But after a while, after a period of detox, yeah, your urine becomes sometimes it's like just warm water. Yeah, when you get really clean, it actually tastes of coconut water. So, I mean, I had it for a week once, tasting coconut. It was delicious. I was waiting for the next one, you know. But
you wouldn't even consider it, surely, if you're on any form of medication.
Well, this with the medication, again, the urine does not allow, or the liver does not allow anything harmful to stay in the blood. Yeah. So under normal circumstances, medication isn't going to affect it. Unfortunately, there are some medications that mimic natural substances. So sometimes they are allowed through, and you do kind of run the risk of overdosing on it.
How much were you drinking a day on the fast?
Well, for me on the fast.
Yeah.
Well, I was at one point I was drinking everything I passed.
So a couple of litres a day then?
At some point I was drinking like four litres a day.
Wow.
But
How did you feel?
the only problem with that is that you would end up going every 15 minutes. So I had to cut back because yeah, I was actually working in London at the time, so it got a little inconvenient. But I managed to do it in working in an office because I had an empty carton of apple juice on my desk. So I used to go to the loo, fill it up, put my cup on the desk, and nobody would look at it twice. And I'd just drink it through the day. But yes, yeah, I was passing. I passed at one stage, and then I cut it back, and I then let my body determine how much I need, how much I felt like I needed, and that's you know, eventually you do get in touch with your body so much that you know how much you need. Yeah.
So on the 29th, 30th day, did you feel like it was time to stop, or could you have carried on again?
I could have carried on, yes. Yes, it was amazing actually. If you know, I should talk about this. Yeah, when I started, I'd been on urine therapy for a year at that point. When I heard about the fast, and I gave it a try. Almost immediately when I started the actual fast, I got spots appeared on my face, and I've never ever in my life had spots. Yeah, it was literally detoxing stuff that just plain urine therapy wasn't doing, and I was getting so much energy after the initial sort of detox. I was getting so much energy. I was thinking, this can't be real. I'm like, whoa, you know. So on day 18, I decided to test whether it was real energy or phantom energy. So I scheduled a whole day of hard physical labour. I was building a geodesic dome, so I was carting up 192 pieces of wood, you know, 2x4s, out to like 400 yards away, and built this thing on the green, you know, crawled around it for a while taking measurements, and then disassembled it and carted it all back in, and that took all day essentially.
So you had mental clarity as well?
Oh yeah, oh, it goes through the roof, right? Your intuition goes through the roof. Your connection with your body, you know, it's amazing. Initially, when you're drinking urine, when you eat something that your body doesn't like, right, you will taste it in the urine. And you go, oh, okay, oh no, I shouldn't be eating that. Later on, as soon as you eat something your body doesn't like, you feel it and you know what's going on inside you. Yeah. I had some Cadbury's chocolate at one point. I don't eat that stuff at all anymore. But I had some Cadbury's chocolate one time, and I took a couple of squares, and I actually felt water, you know, going into my stomach, and I knew what was going on. It was like, this is bad, I'm going to have to try and flush this out. And like, I felt the water entering my stomach, and I was like, oh yeah, no, I shouldn't have eaten that. So yeah, you do get in touch with your body. And the intuition, well, I think the intuition comes from something else. I think it's stopping eating, because I was doing I did a 60-day breatharian experiment where I didn't eat for 60 days, and well, it started off not eating and not drinking for 60 days, but I didn't prepare not to drink, so I got dehydrated after 10 days. But in that 10 days, it was incredible. I woke up at 4 o'clock in the morning every morning, and lay in bed for 4 hours having ideas and making connections, and it was incredible. I ended up having to keep a notepad by my bed so I could remember it all and write it all down and stuff. It was just amazing. So and one of the ideas I had was the explanation for what was going on, and it turned out to be real, that your gut has brain cells, right? Your gut thinks. It doesn't think in the same way as this does, right? It thinks in feelings, intuition, yeah? So you'll just have ideas that come from here and they turn out to be right, yeah? And that idea that it's my gut thinking, and now that I'm not putting anything down there and it's not being stressed and overworked, now it can think. But as soon as I started drinking, the edge of, you know, this this awareness, this intuition, the edge of it just sort of went down a bit. And yeah, it was still sort of quite cool, but it wasn't nearly the high level that I was kind of getting used to in that first 10 days. But I finished the urine fast. Now at the end of the urine fast, or let's say at the beginning of the urine fast, I had high blood pressure. I had I had a nerve damage in the side of my foot. I had pain up the back of my foot from up the back of my leg from an Achilles tendon operation. I had 4 years previous. I had chronic asthma, such I couldn't walk 100 yards without having to rest. I couldn't raise, which arm is it now? I couldn't raise this arm above shoulder height because it would crunch and whatever. I couldn't stand up straight for any length of time because I had back problems, lower back. Yeah, I had a whole list of things. They all went in that 30 days. I also went down 7 belt notches. I was nearly 20 stone when I started. Went in 7 belt notches in 30 days. Yeah, my girlfriend at the time, I hadn't seen her for a week, and she came back and she was like, "There's only half of you here. Where was the rest of you?" You know, it was literally so dramatic.
How long ago was it when you did that? Are you going to do another one?
Yeah, I'm going to have to actually, because I spent 6 months with my mum helping her, and then spent the last 2 months with a Turkish family where literally every 5 minutes it's more food, you know. So I've been, you know, my diet has been a bit crappy, and so I'm going to have to get back into it at one point. So yes, I will. Yeah, sorry, I've got way off track. Sorry. So yeah, one of the questions: why put it back into you? Well, there are so many amazing things in your urine, yeah, including growth hormone. Yeah, it's also got some of the feel-good hormones, like endorphins. Yeah, so all the things that you might take drugs for, yeah, it's in your wee. In fact, one of the first things that happen when you start drinking urine is you get this amazing rush of energy and feeling of well-being, which is the first thing I felt when I took it. Like within 5 to 10 minutes, I felt this, ooh, I feel quite good, you know. And another amazing thing it's got in it is stem cells. Now these cells are undifferentiated cells that can become anything. So they literally roam around the body looking for things to repair. If you've got a problem with your lungs, then they become lung tissue. Yeah, if you've got a problem with your bones, they become bone tissue. So your urine is literally packed with them. And one thing that we found out is that when you age your urine, when you have aged urine, you keep it stored for a long time. I've got some that's like 7 years old. So I stored it a little wrongly, so half the time I'm afraid to open it, you know. So while it's being aged, the stem cells multiply in the urine. So that's why it's very, very, very powerful, especially when used externally. So if you cut yourself or anything, put aged urine on it, and literally it will heal up in no time. And I've got a few stories about how it heals up. Yep.
Is it injectable?
Yes, it is. There's a book called The Water of Life by John Armstrong, and this guy, he details all the people he'd helped with the urine therapy, and he talks about how injecting urine is amazing, and it works, you know, incredibly well. I've never done it, so I don't advocate it, because I can only talk about stuff that I've done personally. So I'm, you know, even though I know it's good, I don't talk about it too often. So even the mainstream media are coming, you know, awakening to this idea of stem cells being powerful. Here is a story about them creating human kidneys with stem cells. Yeah, and they say in the text there that they have to use, I think, cells from a pig's bladder, and they have to be grown in a lab. Well, that's just to put you off the fact that you've got a whole store of stem cells in your urine, and you can use them anytime you want.
And
animal fetal
Okay,
sources?
so
Sorry,
I might
animal
leave
Animal
that. I'll leave that there. Dave then goes on to explain how to do the urine protocol, which is fascinating. But basically, he's making a case for a personalized gene therapy that is created by you for you. I mean, in America, like he's saying, if you want to get a stem cell treatment, it's in the tens of thousands of dollars, and they have to use pigs or stem cells from aborted fetuses. Yeah, so the only thing I could hope to add to what Dave said is just that I think the one thing that your body does need a lot of, and that doesn't seem to be in hardly any food, is iodine. Supposedly, sometime after the Second World War, the British government decided to stop supplementing the iodine and the iodide in the soil, and they took steps to remove it and replace it with bromine and bromide. So iodine's an element. Your body can't make it from other things. The other elements that are present here are found in substantial quantities in foods, but iodine I don't think is. Eggs are supposed to be a good natural source of iodine, but again, the feeds that the chicken farmers are using, which they buy kind of through government regulated companies, I suspect are also diminished in iodine, so I'm not sure if eggs are still a good source. The only source that I don't think they have anywhere tampering with is good sea salt, like Malden flakes or Celtic sea salt. That still does have iodine in it, so if you're supplementing with that, then I'm sure that's fine. But I've always been an advocate of topical iodine application. Lugol's iodine solution, I think, is the best 12.5% solution diluted to 1/5, because some people have skin reactions if you use undiluted iodine initially. So yeah, that's really it's cheap to get. It's quite difficult to get hold of, but you can still get it on the internet. So that's the only thing I would say, is it might be worth still supplementing. Yeah, so I'll probably leave it there. Oh, just one other thing. When Dave Murphy talks about helping his mum for 6 months, it's a testament to how humble and modest this guy is. You know, he didn't just help her, he basically saved her from Western medicine, and you'll see I'm going to do a second video just showing the before and after pictures of people who've done urine therapy, and his mother's one of them. And you know, he applied what he'd learned to saving his mum in spite of Western medicine, and that's a wonderful thing. So yeah, I'm going to leave it there, and I'll do another follow-on video which will be a lot shorter, just showing the before and after effects. So yeah, thanks for listening.